welcome back to A to B's Books. I'm Ryan, and today we'll be doing my January TBR, or Pile of Possibilities is a bit more apt for what I do. First, we're going to look back into how I did on my December TBR. I ended up finishing 5 books in December. I'll put them up on the screen now. Some highs and lows are, the lows were definitely A Heart for Christmas. That was my Advent romance. Such a cool concept, but it really was just not a good book. So I definitely wouldn't recommend that for you next year. It was just a complete flop. Some highs were The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. I really liked that book, and I'm getting way more into like the Dream Harbor saga. I think the first one was just like really rough for me, and they've only improved. So I'm actually very much looking forward to the 4th book that comes out, I think, in March of 2025. I really liked The Christmas Book Club by Sarah Morgan. I totally want to read more by her when I'm just in the mood for something cute and cozy. I thought her writing was really good. I had low expectations for this book, so that might be why I enjoyed it so much, just because I really wasn't expecting anything. It was like a great book, had a lot of fun, and that was our book club book, and we had a great discussion about it. I also finished last month The Little Book of Hugo and loved it. I have implemented some of the practices that I learned from the book. And if you've ever had any interest in learning about Hugo, I can't say it, I'll never be able to say it correctly. I would highly recommend this book. Obviously, it's the only one I've read on this subject, but it was really fun and educational. And it was just like a great mix. And the book itself was Hugo. So 10 out of 10. I rated that one 4 stars. I had no 5s. I'm looking here right now at my story graph. I had no 5-star reads this month or in December. My lowest was 2.5, which was A Heart for Christmas, and my highest was 4, which was The Book Club Hotel and The Little Book of Hugo. So looking forward to January of 2025, let's get my TBR, or Pile of Possibilities, created. So I know that so typically what I like to do is pick 8 books that I can pile a possibility pick from. 3 are not optional. 1 is a book that I've already started. So that is Throne of Glass. I've started the series. I am 50% of the way through, and I've been really enjoying it. I was hoping to finish it before 2024 ended, but I just didn't get a chance to. Really liking it. That's currently what I'm reading. Next is my January book club book, which is Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. That will be, I actually have no idea what this is about. My friend Jackie was the one who selected it, and I'm looking forward to it. All I know is that it has multiple POVs. And then my next book club book is Onyx Storm, which comes out at the end of the month. So those are the 3 books I know for sure I'll be reading in the month of January, or starting/finishing in the month of January. So next we have to pick the 5 books that will complete the pile of possibilities. So first we're going to spin a wheel to see how many picks I have to make from my TBR jar, from the physical books that are behind me that I have not read. So we'll do that first. I have the spinner wheel up, obviously, kind of down below here. And let's see how many I have to do. 2. Okay, perfect. That's a nice low number. I have my TBR jar. It has all the books that are on the shelf. I just do this and wait for one to fly out at me. Okay, low-key, this looks like one that's already been opened. The Man Who Saw Everything. It's not. I'll pull that in a second. Oh, and The Time in Between. That is one that has been pulled. I know that, and it's a big freaking book. Okay, so those are 2 books. We'll look into those. So we have the 2 books from the TBR pull, which is The Man Who Saw Everything by Deborah Levy. I think my friend Tori is the one who suggested I read that. And it's actually set in my birth year of 1988. Seems like it takes place in communist East Berlin. It's actually quite a short book, so I will try and prioritize this just to knock it out. This is The Time in Between. I believe it's a historical fiction. I know I got this used, which is great because my book club has a book club bingo, and a used book is on that list. And I got this at one of my favorite used bookstores. So it seems like it takes place around this girl whose name is Sierra, and it has her at age 12 when a second time between War and Peace, which is when the Spanish Civil War is occurring, and then when the Second World War begins. So another historical fiction read that I know I want to read. I think the size is just intimidating for me, but we'll see if that gets picked this month. And then for the last 3 books, because right now I'm stand at 5, the last 3 books will be prompt picks. So I have about 45 prompts for books. And ideally, I will pick books that I already own physically behind me to fulfill the prompt. But if I'm unable to, then I will get the book somewhere else. So the first prompt is okay, historical fiction about American history. I have a book. I just got it. Okay, so my friend Michelle literally just gifted me this book for Christmas, and it's called The Indigo Girl. It is set in 1739 America. I had suggested this as a buddy read for me and my friend Shannon because we had discussed wanting to read more in this time and place after we finished Slewfoot because we were really interested. This is a little further on from Puritan culture times of America because I think that was more in the 1600s. But this was on my list of those types of books. So I'll have to see if I can convince Shan to read this with me. Yeah, talking to you, Shan. And then let's do the second book. A nonfiction book about American history. Okay, let's see. The only I know I have one, but I really don't want to read it. I don't have much nonfiction, do I? Okay, so I do have one nonfiction book about American history. I'm not American, I am Canadian, so that's not something I massively own. It's not like a huge part of my collection. But I do have the personal memoir of Ulysses S. Grant, which was a former president and a former general for the Union side of the Civil War. I watched a documentary about him, and I thought he was very interesting. So I actually found this. It was a used book that I found while I was visiting my cousin in Colorado. So pretty fun. Unlikely that I will finish this book, but maybe I'll start it. And this can be kind of my nonfiction for like a chunk. We'll see. Oh, I have like a table over here and it's like bending from the weight of all my books. Okay, so here are 4 of the books. It's always nice to see 4 books that I already own. And then I will have Onyx Storm on top of here because I plan on buying it the day it comes out. And then my other reads will be digital on my Kindle. Okay, so I discovered that I don't know how to count. I didn't end up picking or doing a third spin. So I just did one and I ended up with a book set in New England. I don't know why my TBR wants me to be in America so bad. So I had to first Google what is New England and just to like confirm the states that it's comprised of. And then I knew that I have one author in particular that I love who sets most of her books in New England, which is my girl, Jodi Picoult. So I went to the first book that I own by her that I have not read. And that is Lone Wolf. It takes place in New Hampshire. So I think this will be the perfect book. And that will be my 8th book, rounding off my pile of possibilities. I'd say that's a pretty good pile of possibilities. I'm looking forward to diving into some of these. My only fear for the month of January is that I will get sucked into the Game of Thrones, the Throne of Glass world and not want to pause. So if that occurs, I will allow myself to do that. I think mood reading is where I'm most successful. So I hope you have a really great January and you get your reading goals done. Let me know if you've set any reading goals for the year of 2025. Mine right now is at 40, which I didn't accomplish last year, so it will be challenging for me. Usually I just do the number of the year. So last year I did like 24 in 2024. So I would be doing typically 25 in 2025. But since I read 36 books last year, I think 40 is a realistic goal to set for myself, especially because in the later half of the year, I was reading more. So I think 40 is achievable. Let me know what you've set for yourself or if you don't like to set goals and why. I'm interested to know. Enjoy the rest of your month and I'll see you later. Goodbye.